Hey, I thought I'd read another blog entry. I also have a written blog, and I thought I'd read this blog entry that I wrote around Mother's Day about my mom, and I'd like to share this. I had written it around Mother's Day when I found this tribute that I had written for my mom. It's also around the same time as the anniversary of her death in 1994. Whenever I read a tribute to someone, it's to someone who has died. The other night I was driving to a rehearsal for a play I'm in, and I started thinking about my mother's situation, about how I was going to dedicate my performance in this play to her. And then I thought about writing a tribute to her before she dies, a way to express my gratitude and love. She was diagnosed as having inoperable cancer January of 1993. They gave her 3 to 6 months. Here it is, February of 94, and Mom is still hanging in there. Am I surprised? Not really. I learned early on in this struggle of life, I am a survivor. No matter what curveball comes my way, no matter how awful life gets, I refuse to be beaten. Now I know where I got that quality from. From both my parents, actually, but I think mostly from Mom. All my life, one thing was very clear to me about my parents. They were not only very much in love, but they were always there for each other. Most marriages have rough patches, but I know my parents have had some abnormally difficult times. And they stuck with it because I suppose it was worth it to them. They have traveled that road for more than 40 years together. And now as they are facing the imminent death of one of them, the finiteness of their coupleness, to coin a couple of words, it is ever more clear what a symbiotic relationship they have. And it is ever more clear the strength my mother holds within her. I remember my mom when I was a child. I remember how pretty she was and how gentle and kind and understanding she was. She has never failed to be there for me when I needed her. Now that I am a mother myself, I can say with some certainty that she would disagree with that. But if she were right, the times she failed were not important because I have no memory of them. I remember her comforting me when I was sick or was in any kind of emotional turmoil. Some cruel children would make fun of me, of my skinny, flat-chested adolescent body and my painfully shy self. She kept assuring me that I was like her, a late bloomer. Wait until you get a little older, she'd say, the boys won't know what hit 'em. She was right, too. No, I didn't turn out to be a bombshell or anything like that, but those hormones eventually did work their magic, and I did eventually become a woman. Wonder of wonders. During my high school years, she dispensed wisdom, warmth, and advice to many of my girlfriends who found it easier to talk to her than to their own mothers. It was she who advised against fighting with my best friend over a boy. Boys will come and go in your life, but good friends last a lifetime. That struck a chord deep inside of me, and I took that lesson to heart. She gave me my first inkling that there was a sisterhood among women, and I like that. I'm still friends with that 4th grade girl. It's rewarding and comforting to have someone who has known you for over 30 years and still calls you her friend. You can always confide in her about anything and never feel like you are being judged. She has always had a kind of healing aura, loving and nurturing, and completely selfless. She has a refined sense of empathy and has always been extra sensitive. You could say she was psychic. She is an old soul, as they say, and has been known to predict the future or read minds. Some people are givers, and some are takers, and some are in between. Mom is all giver. A little later in life, she finally learned to take a little. And my sister and brother and I cheer her on. Always a big supporter of her children's creative sides, now she delves a little more deeply into her own, which was always sort of simmering on the back burner. She makes ceramic figures and paints them. She has painted portraits of the whole family, but her favorite subjects are animals, especially young ones. Her landscapes are my favorite. There's a wistfulness about them, a dreaminess that makes me want to escape into them. And her poetry. It is because of her that all three of her children are so right-brained, I think. When she was diagnosed as terminal, my sister and I flew from New York to Florida to visit her. It was really hard, but in keeping with the open communication we've always shared, we talked about her death. We decided that we are all very lucky because none of us had any issues, as they say, to deal with. Mom is ready. Of course, she would prefer to stick around a lot longer, but she has lived a good and rewarding life, and she has no unfinished business to hurry up and deal with. And she isn't afraid of what comes after death. We all know she's going to a better place. And no one deserves that more than she does, in my opinion. She faces every day with a sense of humor and a courage that I don't know if I could ever have. She's just afraid of the pain. Who wouldn't be? But she knows we will do anything we can to make sure that this doesn't happen. We will do anything she asks. My mother has a spirit that's very special. A rare combination of wisdom and innocence, of strength and fragility that captures most everyone she meets. This world is blessed by her presence, and I have been especially blessed to have her as my mother, because much of what I like best about me comes from her. Just having a chance to know her and be loved by her is a gift like no any other. I don't know any woman who doesn't have some complaint about her mother. You see endless magazine articles about the problems between mothers and daughters. I know how lucky I am to have Jean as my mother. I love you, Mom, and I'll miss you. But I will carry you in my heart until we connect again, and I know that we will.